Hello, 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 everybody. I hope and pray that your week is off to an amazing start. Again, hello, 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 everybody. Hope and pray that your week is off to an amazing start. As for me, mine is off to an amazing start because I have gotten so much stuff done in the last 2 days. I don't even know what is going on. I just been getting my stuff done, getting prepared for next year, working with my team to accomplish some stuff. Again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Do me a huge favor and put in the chat where you're joining me from. I would absolutely love to give you a shout out. Again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me on Wife Chat. Again, I hope and pray that your week is off to an amazing start. I just want to say this. Last week I went and early voted and I had to wait in line 2 hours. And I'm like, if it's 2 hours and I'll call myself early voting, I can't imagine what it's going to be like next week. But I hope and pray that you guys are going to go vote um, and make your voices heard. I cannot wait. This is Gail personally talking. I cannot wait until this election is over because I am so sick of all these campaign ads and all of this stuff. But anyway, again, you guys, do me a favor and put in the chat where you're joining me from. I would absolutely love to give you a shout out. And so, again, I hope you guys that are joining me, your week is off to an amazing start. I had made some fettuccine tonight and it was amazing. I was like, yeah, you just go. I cook I cook for my family Monday through Thursday, but today I did a little something extra. I don't know where it came from, but I did. Hi Francis, how are you from Florida? I appreciate you for joining me from Florida and putting it in the chat. And so let's get started. Tonight's chat comes from a husband in San Francisco. And he says, Dear Dr. Gail, I'm 46 years old and my wife is 38 years old. And I was diagnosed with I can't even talk right now, testicular cancer. I usually can say it. It just didn't come out today. Whatever, cancer, a year ago. And I have been on chemo and doing other things to fight this battle. My wife has been wonderful through this whole entire process. But last month, she came to me and asked if we could have an open marriage until I'm well enough and able to go back and be performing sexual acts that we used to do together. What should I do? What should I do? He puts this 3 times. What should I do? Should I agree since I can't perform sexually right now? Or should I tell her no and risk her walking away, knowing that I need her to help with my care? This one is a hard one, right? He's 46 and he's young, right? Really young. And she's 38 and really young, right? And I had the pleasure of speaking to him today because I always try to reach out if I can, if they make themselves available to be reached out to see if I can have a conversation to get more information. And they have one child that is 4 years old, which he did not put in there, and I in his initial thing to me. But they do have one child, and he was saying that their marriage is absolutely wonderful, except that he was blindsided by her saying, can they have an open marriage until he's able to perform sexually again in the marriage? Now, this one is a hard one for me because I look at the vows that we take, right? And we always like the vows. We spend a lot of time on the wedding and, all those things, and the dinner and the outfits and the dresses and the vacation and the honeymoon. And we spend all that time, but we don't look and say the vows that we really took. And part of our vows is in sickness and in health, right? We focus a lot on the healthy part of the vows, but it's very hard when the sickness comes, right? Because that's where you get to really understand and get to know if your spouse is really in it to win it. Now, don't come for me and say that, she's young and you should just, whatever. No, when you took those vows, that was part of it. And nobody wants their spouse to get sick. Nobody wants their significant other that they love, that they have to be, begin to take care of them because they're going through such a horrific thing like cancer and chemotherapy and all of those things, right? Nobody wants that. But you took those vows. But since your husband is not able to perform, or your wife is not able to perform, because the shoe could be on the other foot, right? Then you are saying, can I go get my personal needs met until you get better, and then I will come back and we can be married, right? And evidently, from me talking to this young man, that his wife has been by his side for every therapy session. She makes sure that he's fed, makes sure that he's well taken care of. It's just that she is saying now she can no longer go without sex until he's well. So here's some questions I would like for people who are in this situation to ask themselves if the shoe was on the other foot, right? Are you sure that you can handle your spouse sleeping with someone else, knowing that you're sick? And this is for a woman or a man, right? Can you handle that, right? And these are the questions that I ask him. And I'm not going to tell you his answers, but when you go to your spouse and you say, I know you're sick, I love you, I'm going to do what I need to do, but I need my sexual needs met and you can't do it. And so I want us to have an open marriage where I can go sleep and get my needs met and come back when you're ready to be able to do the things that you were able to do. I think that's a bold move, right? Does it work for some people? Absolutely, it does, right? Because I met with couples that they don't have any sickness or anything like that, but they have chosen to have an open marriage and sleep with certain people, and their spouse knows the other person and vice versa, and they're okay with that, right? But that is a decision that they decided to make inside of their marriage, and it's a mutual decision. But when you go to your spouse and say, you're not meeting my sexual needs, so this is what I'm going to do because you're sick. It's not like he just chose not to have sex with you, right? It's because he can't have sex with you because he's fighting for his life. Number two, will you be able to trust your spouse after you're well and you can resume your duties sexually? Will you be able to trust him or her that they're still not wanting to dive into having an open marriage because that's what they got used to? And I'm just asking questions that I asked this young man. Okay. 3, what are the ground rules when it comes to her being able or him being able to do this? Is it one person? Is it multiple people? Will you be able to meet these people that they're engaging in? Are you going to use protection? Are you going to get tested before you guys get engaged, engage again? What are the ground rules? Because She did do you on, and being trying to be honest and ask you the question, right? So that's something good. She just didn't take off and do it. But you have to set some parameters on this, because if not, the expectation could be that it's just one time. It could be that it's just going to be one person. It could be that it could be with somebody that you know, or a total stranger. What is the ground rules, and what are you willing, if you decide to say, okay, what are you willing to put up with? Number four, is that the real reason she wants an open marriage? Because you're sick? Is that the real reason, or is that an opportunity for her to do something that she's always been wanting to do in the marriage? And these are the questions that I ask, not just him, but other people who are contemplating being in open marriages. Because if you don't set the ground rules, if you don't really know the real reason that other person wants to open up the marriage, if you don't really understand if you can handle your spouse knowingly sleeping with someone else, right? Because devastation happens a lot of time when you find out about infidelity, but you knowing that your spouse is going to engage with someone else, can you handle that? And these are some of the questions you need to ask and be able to answer when you decide, or one of your significant other asks you, can we be in an open relationship? And I can't answer that question for anybody. Only thing I can do is pose questions that I know that in my 20 years of practice has really came to fruition and either made or broke a marriage. And once I asked these questions, I can tell you, the young man told me, Dr. Gail, I'd never thought about any of these questions. And he said, and I love my wife, but I couldn't, he said, I can't handle it. So the question becomes is, and like I told him, and like I told her, because she finally got on the call, is that it's more to sex than just penetration sex. It's more to your bedroom than just wham bam thank you ma'am. You can have a fulfilling sex life and never have penetration sex. So for this couple, as when I got off the phone with them, they decided that they didn't want to have an open marriage, that the things that I gave them ideas about, that they would explore to see if that met her sexual desires that was not being met, because in her mind that penetration sex was the only way to have sex, and that is not true. So if you find yourself in a situation where your spouse is wanting an open marriage, really get to the root cause of why and ask yourself these questions, or ask him or her those questions. And if they're not able to answer them effectively, and if you can't handle it, or if the shoe is on the other foot and they can't handle it, knowing that you're going to engage with someone else, then the answer is no. Not saying that you can boss anybody around, not saying that you can stop anybody from doing anything, but at the end of the day, this is your marriage. You made a vow, and you want to try to stick to those vows. And I hope and pray that this helps somebody, because let me just tell you, this kind of conversation is running rampant. This kind of, okay, I'm doing this, but I need this from you, right? And sometimes marriage is not always 50-50. Sometimes is 60-40, and sometimes you got to carry the 40, I mean the 60, until your spouse can get back on track, especially if there's some health issues going on there. And so our goal and our my prayer is that you try to honor all your vows. Not perfect, because nobody's perfect. But this is a fairly young man, and he said that his treatments are working. He's feeling better. He's getting stronger. So therefore, and his markers are coming down. So all things are working well. So she just needs to hang in there just a little bit longer when it comes to that. And she agreed to that. Okay. So I hope and pray that this teaching helps someone, but don't just jump and say, oh, my needs are not being met. And I understand that there are people, and millions of people, that are in sexless marriages, and it's not due to any kind of health thing. It's just that it's unforgiveness. It's all kind of different things going on in the marriage, abuse, physically and mentally, all these things going on. And that's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is making a conscious decision, because you are in this selfish box right now, and you want to get your sexual needs met. But again, I have to give her credit. She didn't realize that there was other things that they can introduce into their bedroom, that he was 100% in agreement, and she was too, to make their sex life fulfilling until she can and he can perform sexually. Okay. All right. If you guys have any chats that you want me to talk about, none is off limit. All you have to do is either hit me up on any of my social media platforms, or you can go to my website, gailcrowder.com, and just email me. Again, I will never say your name. I just want you to tell me the particulars and where you're located. And again, if I have, like I said, there's no limits to that. And if you want to talk to me, you can feel free to visit my website as well and schedule a free 15-minute consultation. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to help you with one tool or one strategy that I know will help you in your marriage. And also, as you guys know, I've been shooting I've shot my TV pilot, and just need some additional funding to get it over to the producers and stuff. So if you want to support me in any kind of way, no dollar amount is too low or too little. Just go to drgailtvshow.com, drgailtvshow.com, and I would love your support and your help. And again, you guys, I just put that in the chat, the website you can go to. But again, you guys, thank you so much for allowing me in your personal space. If you need me, you guys know how to find me. Y'all have an amazing, amazing night.